Hi everyone. On today's More Than Words, I'll have an Italian musician, composer, master of the keys, whether it's a piano, an organ, a guitar, you name it. Please welcome Mistheria. Ciao Mistheria, come stai?
Tutto bene, obrigado.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the answer in Portuguese.
Sure.
So, how are you?
Very good. A little bit busy, a lot busy this time since we are finalizing the new album of Vivaldi Metal Project, Epiclassica. We
Hmm.
are so just finalizing the master, and it's a very demanding job. It needs to be focused. Spend a lot of hours on it, and basically in the last month and a half, I'm just almost doing just that. So, but
Yeah, sure.
it's nice. It's nice.
Of course, and of course, you're always busy because music is your life. That's all you do since very early age. And the Vivaldi Metal Project that you were talking about, for someone who doesn't know it, it's like this crazy big project with a lot of musicians. Do you want to present the Vivaldi Metal Project, please?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I want to thank you for this invitation. Very kind of you, and
Thank you.
I'm very pleased to be here with you.
Thank you.
The Vivaldi project, yeah, it's in the last year. It is one of my main uh, jobs. Let's say I am the creator and producer of this international project. It's an all star project featuring some of the greatest, most amazing musicians from all over the world.
Mhm.
Um, so it will be the list too long to mention, but maybe we can
It's more than
mention.
100 musicians, right?
Well, I'd say it's 200 musicians in this second album. Was like more than 100 in the first album.
Okay.
We have also orchestra and choir, and among all the names that we have in this, especially in this last album, um, we can mention like Jeff Scosotto.
Hmm.
It was also your guest here.
Yes, it was.
So we have Mike Portnoy, Jennifer Batten.
Wow, big names then.
We have Anders Johansson, Mark Bolts, Rob Rock, Stevie Di Giorgio. I mean, really,
Hmm.
Mike Torana. So the list goes on, of course. But the most important thing always for me starts from the compositions, from the material on which anyway we work on, because without music musicians without the compositions, musicians are almost useless. So I had to thank, of course, all the arrangers that worked with me, because I have a staff of about 15 arrangers.
Hmm.
Also we have orchestrators and so on that worked with me in the first stage of the project to create all the music material um, that I plan to make. Um, and
And I know that you have a Portuguese talent related to the Vivaldi Metal Project. You have a Portuguese orchestrator, right?
Yeah, we have a Carolina Godinho, and
Yes.
I want to thank her also for the connection with you,
Yeah.
for the great, amazing job that she did on several pieces in the album. So yeah,
Hmm.
very appreciated.
These days, the internet connection that we have all over the world, it makes it easier for you to connect with the artists all over the place, right?
Yeah, yeah. In the last years, it is let's say virtual collaborations really grew up a lot, and it basically is what the Vivaldi Meta project is based on. It has allowed me to collaborate with musicians from Asia, Japan, to U.S., California, to Australia.
Hmm.
I mean, basically from all over the world.
Hmm.
Realistically
So
speaking.
this wouldn't be
So
possible like 20 years ago. You couldn't have done this.
yeah, I mean, I started about that time. It was,
Hmm.
but anyway, it was not so easy like today. We have today also many tools over the net. You know that it is
Of
speed
course.
this job up. That time was a little bit slower. You know, with just by email, everything was moving to the emails. Now there are many music tools that make this job easier.
Of course. And I know that this second all-star album, the Epiclassica from Vivaldi Metal Project, was a successful project funded by crowdfunding, right?
Yeah, part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, has been so successfully crowdfunded on GoGet funding platform, we reached our goal. Of course, this is a small part of the production because it's very expensive, especially talking about these days when nowadays productions are for the most, home budget made.
Of course.
This is a little bit more expensive than our own budget, but again, we made it, so that's the most important thing. And I want, of course, thank everyone so far supported us because they are really amazing. Everyone that funded and donated to our project. So yeah, thanks to all of them.
I know that you have planned to release the Epiclassica maybe in the end of this year, maybe in the beginning of the new year, 2022. So what can we expect from Epiclassica, apart from what you already said and the collaboration of these many artists?
Yeah, Epiclassica, let's say it's a follow of the first album, The Four Seasons. That one was entirely based on Vivaldi's masterwork, The Four Seasons, of course, and it was let's say a journey in the human life, in the four seasons of the human life. Instead, the Vivaldi work was about the four seasons of nature. The Epiclassica, let's say, that follows this concept, and we are gonna to express, highlight all the human emotions, human being emotions that we experience during our seasons of life.
Okay.
So some songs, approach our approach like love theme, sadness, anger, or any other kind of emotion we experience in our life. So it's always about human being, not in their life moment, so in their life time. The composers that are part of this new album range from Vivaldi, of course, to Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms, Chopin, Fauré. So I selected, let's say, some of the most famous team from classical music that we know, and on that teams we built the songs that are almost original songs, but with this, leitmotif that it can be easily recognized for in each
for
song.
everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
So after the release of the album of Epiclassica, do you plan on going on the road with that work to show maybe to Europe or even away from Europe to show the album?
Yeah, sure. That's the plan. If times allow, if the world
Hopefully the
situation,
pandemic will be better by then. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's going better and better. So our agency in Lives Entertainment is working on some shows for next year. We will announce soon some shows already confirmed. But before that, we are going to have a couple acoustic shows in December in Italy.
That's good news. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good news, especially to end this year. And in these acoustic shows, we will already present some of a couple of new songs, of course, acoustic version, and we will get ready for the electric show soon. So
Okay, really good news then. And I hope that everything goes okay with those shows, because it's really good news to be back on the road, meeting with your audience and
Of course.
giving them good new music, of course.
Yeah,
Hmm.
especially after the release of the new album will be really perfect.
Hmm.
I hope that all the plans that we are making will be possible to realize.
Very well. So I know you have been passionate about Vivaldi since you were very young. So where did that come from?
Well, it came from a newsstand shop.
Really?
Yeah, I was there. I was like caught by this uh, uh, cassette tape. You
Yes.
know, it is collection that they sell time by time about classical composers, and my mom bought the first release that was including, I remember, Bach, Vivaldi, Handel.
Hmm.
So I started to listen during my homeworks at school, these tapes, and when I put in Vivaldi, I was like, stop, what's happening here? So I was, putting on loop this tape for hours and hours and hours, days and days. So this is really something that became very special in my life. It was, also my like background music during my job, homeworks at home,
Hmm.
while I was practicing, studying, and so on. And so then I have started to play some of these, some parts of this masterwork um, in my concerts, I don't know, on organ or on accordion, because I started playing accordion.
Yeah,
And
I know
then,
your father also played the accordion, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
he started me with music, yeah,
Hmm.
and then also, of course, on piano, but was spare things here and there.
Hmm.
And then I don't know. Once I said, well, I think this music is gonna to fit very well, some metal arrangement.
Yeah.
So I started working on that. I made the first demo, and then yeah, I get started like this.
Hmm. Yes, of course, the combination of classic music and rock, it's not new, because other people have already tried to do things relating to those two areas. But of course, that with Vivaldi Metal Project, you went just beyond all that with this very ambitious project. So Vivaldi was very present, but also the other big names of classical music, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
I also worked previously made other arrangements on Handel, Bach, Liszt, and so on.
Hmm.
But then all this experience I had before, I focused on the Vivaldi Metal Project, and I want to make it very, let's say, my approach
Yes.
was a little bit different, because I didn't want just, to put some double kick drums and electric guitars, distorted guitars on it, but I want just to create like let's say new music based on these classical works.
Hmm.
For example, the first big difference that I've been adding lyrics
Yeah.
the Four Seasons. That is an instrumental work.
Yes.
So this was the very first difference. At the beginning, my idea was to include just choir, so some choir
Hmm.
parts. But then it went deeper and deeper. So I started to work with Douglas Docker, great musician from Italy, on lyrics, and he created all the concept based on the idea.
Yes.
Uh, yes, so this is the big difference that also, of course, in the new album Epiclassica, all songs include the lyrics,
Hmm.
vocal melodies. I choose all instrumental works,
Hmm.
and on them I've been adding, of course, all the vocal lyric parts.
Okay, perfect. We are eager to listen to that new release from
Okay.
Vivaldi Metal Project. So when I was preparing for this interview, I went to put the CD of the Four Seasons of Vivaldi, so I could just remember the melodies. And I was thinking, do you think that classical music still appeal to the new generations?
Um, from my experience, I had in these years with the graduate project, absolutely, yeah, absolutely
Hmm.
yes. Uh, I usually say that, like Vivaldi Metal Project, it's a is cross age, cross generation project, because we have our fans, range from 10 years old, even younger,
Hmm.
to
Yes.
80 years old. Starting from metal musicians or metal fans that like also classical music, or just that get to know metal, classical music through metal, or opposite, people that like classical music and then
Yes.
start to know that can be combined with some rock elements. So it's very nice when we look at our audience, for example, especially during the shows, and we see that there is any kind of people there, any generation.
That's interesting. Yeah, to know
Yeah,
that all
yeah.
these people listen to classical related music and
Mm.
classical music as well. And I know that over the years you've been also a teacher, a music teacher. You have students probably from young ages. How do they react to this approach to classical music?
Oh, they just love it. Yeah, they just love it. Um, many of my students are also following, of course, my solo career and Vivaldi Metal Project. So we are often connected on various, social networks,
Hmm.
and they really like it.
So they use you as a good example of what to do, and following someone who also a solo artist and also a session player. And I know that your life is divided between 50% playing and 50% composing. Do you have a favorite, one that you like better?
No, honestly, no.
Both.
I mean, I like what I'm gonna to do in that moment is that I like. When,
Hmm.
for example, I'm composing, that's the maximum in that moment. But then
Yeah.
when I go to produce that I compose it, it's another great moment. And when I go to play live what I compose and produce it, it's another fantastic moment. So yeah, cannot choose really.
Okay. And you were lucky enough to be able to spend your life doing all the things that you love. So you're just a lucky man.
Yeah, that's true. I'm
Okay.
like,
So
yeah.
I saw one of your interviews when you described yourself as an introvert. And then I was thinking, how can an introvert be a part of more than 80 releases as a solo artist and also collaborating with other artists? How can you do that? Is it the
Uh,
music that speaks for you?
yeah, well, first of all, because that's the only thing I know to do in life. So at least once I should do good. I hope so.
Of
And
course.
then I try to organize myself the best, and yeah, I put all myself in any kind of project, album that I'm gonna to work on. So really, really, I don't know exactly. Just I keep doing what I love to do and trying to do it at best. So I, in my possibilities, of course, what I can do.
Yes. I heard that you are very demanding and that you hate being unprepared for something. Is that right?
Or from where this come, I should know. Well, yeah, let's say yes, yes. I mean, because less or more. I mean, it's what is necessary today to to stand up little bit. There is a lot of music, and if you are not very tight on it and precise, and you don't deliver good quality, it's easy to be lost in this
Hmm.
world, music world. And this also, of course, my personality, maybe coming from my father, it was always like, very tight on what I had to do, what not, what to do. So maybe it's also part of my DNA. But I have to say that I'm, as you said, I'm very lucky because I keep working with such amazing musicians that it's very easy. It's very easy because just talk once and they deliver most of the time more than what I expect. So yeah, very lucky.
You were a part of the album of one of my favorite artists, Bruce Dickinson. You worked on Tyranny of Souls. How was it to work with him and especially with Roy Z?
Yeah, but was all perfect. Was of course awesome because this was back in 2003, if I remember good,
Yeah.
several years ago. And I was lucky again that time to have met first Rob Rock, a great singer from me from Florida, and Roy Z was his producer. And so Rob introduced me to Roy, and we started collaborating with him, and it was very nice. Then in the end, I did the 3 or 4 albums with Rob. I don't remember exactly. And one day, I got a call from Roy, and he asked me if I was available to work also on Bruce Dickinson album, and the answer was obvious.
Of course.
Yeah, I of course working on the album, I interacted basically with Roy because he was
He was
he's
producing the record, yes.
producer, of course, and so it was very very nice. He was pushing me, to deliver all my ideas really freely. Everything was coming in my mind, so I delivered all my tracks, and later on Bruce started to listen to this material, and it looks he liked and appreciated it, and then after that we start to meet when he also performed here in Europe, and so yeah, it's a very very nice lovely story.
I know that was one of the highlights of your career. So, what are the others? I know that the creation of Vivaldi Metal Project, of course, but there must be other projects that you have worked on that makes you proud.
Yeah, I can say the second chapter of this story with Bruce Dickinson, because we are working on the new solo album.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
since some years, but little bit is all many things that he keeps doing was uh, changing the plans. So then, of course, the pandemic also
Yes.
stopped a little bit his work, but it's going on. And then I had to. I was also very happy and pleasure to work with other to work with 2 other bands like Atlantica, featuring Roger Staffelbach, John West, John Macaluso, Stevie Giorgio, and the other band, Tower of Babels, Joe Stamp's Tower of Babels,
Yeah.
with of course Joe Stamp on guitar. We have Mark Ross on drums, Nicola Angileri on bass. These are 2 bands project. I don't know how to call them, but anyway, 2 of my bands that I'm very proud of. Yeah.
Of course. And going back a little bit to Vivaldi's work, I know that you were part of a documentary made by where Rick Wakeman had part of, and it was about Vivaldi's music, and you were invited to talk about it, about your work relating Vivaldi. So how was it?
Yeah, he was that time director of UK television program
From ITV, yeah.
about yeah about Vivaldi's music in
The
this
Four
time.
Seasons, yes.
Yeah, generally about Vivaldi's music in this time. So all different projects are now existing, and that still propose Vivaldi's music. So the production contacted me, saying that Rick Wakeman would like to interview me, and we met in Venice. And this was very very nice. This is one of the uh, most nice lovely things that happened during my work with the Vivaldi Metal Project.
And I know that Sir Rick Wakeman had this theory about Vivaldi, saying that he was the first rock star. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah. In this interview, I totally agreed with him, of course. Uh, that's
So,
what I think as well. And I really believe that the rock music roots come from the classical music. I mean,
mhm.
Paganini was a really furious rock star of his
Yeah.
era, like Vivaldi, and I mean, Bach created some of the most epic music.
Mhm.
So what we call today, epic music, symphonic epic music, I mean, it comes from there.
So they are the roots of everything that we have now. It started
Uh,
with them.
yeah,
Yes.
I truly believe it.
hmm
Yeah.
So about your solo works, I know that the latest album you have, Dreams, it's completed 1 year in October. So congratulations on that. So okay, what can you tell us about Dreams if someone hasn't heard it yet?
Yeah, Dreams is part of my, let's say, classical new age production, solo production, basically based on piano, keyboards, and my, let's say, soft side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's based on compositions that I've been writing in the last 10 years. Some composition are even older than 20 years that
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a place, in my other solo albums, and features 17 amazing and wonderful guest musicians, all girls. Uh, I want to represent like dreams to their faces, their figures, their shapes, like like
Mm-hmm.
all stars, in the
Yes.
sky. So this was the idea. It's an album very relaxing, intimate album, as I also wrote somewhere intimate, very personal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Featuring a new age ambient music, piano music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that your mission or your goal would be for people to disconnect for the duration of the album and to go to their own dreams. Is that what you wanted, what you envisioned?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know more than what I can remember. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, that was the presentation of the album, and I usually I write what I really truly think. It's not just like a commercial. And so yeah, I like when people get lost in music,
Mm-hmm.
and songs go on and on, and maybe when you reach the end you want that the album starts again. So that's a very good
Mm-hmm.
sign that the music is really reaching your soul and your heart.
Mm-hmm. And I also know that the dream and the power of dreams is very present in your life and in your career. And I know that you often say to your students, and I have to read the quote: "You have to dream before your dreams can come true." And this is a quote from Abdul Kalam. So
Yes,
this is really important for you.
absolutely. I think always that if you don't have an idea, you cannot reach any goal, and
Mm-hmm.
the ideas usually come from a dream. So first you dream something that maybe can be possible or impossible, but if you really believe it, you make this dream an idea, and this idea uh, can become real. Let's say most of the time. So that's a dream is a goal. It's a life's goal.
Mm-hmm. So, and your life has been revolving around keys for many, many years, and you have dedicated a big part of your life to guitar. So, how did that happen?
I am a little bit. I don't feel so good when I'm sitting,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I do metal shows, sitting on the piano or standing behind the keyboards. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
like these instruments, of course, but on stage, I really love
To move around. Yeah.
interaction. Yeah, interaction
Mm-hmm.
with the audience, also with other musicians on stage, and standing behind the keyboards. Like it stops a little bit my emotions and my wishes on stage. So many years ago, about 90s, I saw this instrument that immediately became one of my dreams. One of the
Yes.
dreams. So I got one of it. Actually, is the what I have now is what I got that time,
Now,
and
still the same guitar.
the same guitar, yeah.
Wow.
And I don't do neither a replacement because it's like having a replacement. It's like you have a girlfriend and then you get another girlfriend. So it's not good. So
Just
you
one is enough.
just one is enough. You have to be really faithful. So I have just one, but it. She can remember all the stories we had on stage on the road, so it's very, very, very precious, very precious to
Mhm.
me. And yeah, that's one of the instruments I love the most.
Mhm. And I find it really interesting that the guitar has conquered space in many bands. When I interviewed Dino Celisic here on More Than Words, he also had a guitar and he showed me his guitar. It was hanging on the wall of his studio. And we talked about Jordan Rudess from Dream Theater, who also uses the guitar and makes a show around it. So I think it's really interesting. Why do you think that the guitar conquered so many space in the latest years?
Yeah, except in the latest years, because
Yeah.
after the 80s, it was a dark time for the guitars. They almost
Yeah.
disappeared. They almost
They were
disappeared.
they were associated with pop, right?
Yeah,
At that
exactly.
time, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of it pop is with some pop artists.
Mhm.
But then they came back. At the time I started to play them it on stage, it was still not very popular. Many people were asking, "What's that? What kind of stuff you play there?" And it's a
Yeah.
keyboard. It's a shoulder keyboard, basically.
Yeah.
In the last, let's say, 10, 15 years, it started to become again popular, more popular, and many artists play it. Yes, including Dino.
Yes.
That listen to me. Yeah,
And there has been some competition between the guitar and guitar on stage for some bands.
well, competition. Yeah, I like more like having a duet, not dual.
Yeah.
Like
And some fans trying to make a distinction between the guitar and the guitar on solos.
yes, yes, that's nice. Anyway, if you watch at the competition or as a duel or duet, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
Hmm. Yeah.
it's very thrilling for musicians and audience. Anyway,
Hmm.
it was very nice in Japan last tour in 2019 with Kelly Simons, great
Hmm.
Japanese guitar player. We had the tour with Mark Waltz playing the
Hmm.
trilogy album Revival. And each time that we were playing with Kelly guitar and the guitar, you could see easily like audience was getting on fire.
Yeah, of course. It's always good moments live to
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
that kind of healthy competition, like we were
exactly.
saying. Yes,
Yeah.
of course. So I know also that you wrote a book on piano. Is it Rhythmica?
Yep.
Yeah. So do you have plans on releasing something like that, or was just once the experience to write a book?
Well, I have other ideas, but I should
Hmm.
have also more time
Yeah.
to write. I have some papers here and they already written, but already several years passed, but maybe one day when, especially when the second Vivaldi Metal Project album will be out, I will have a couple of years, a little bit, I hope so, more relaxing because each
Yeah.
production of the Vivaldi Metal Project really takes a lot of my time and energies, especially. Yeah.
Of course, when you thought about the book, do you thought of it about like a tool for a piano student?
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Especially this was to a book to improve the rhythmic independence and coordination between the two hands. So all small exercises, small patterns
Hmm.
that really improve this balance between the two hands.
Hmm.
Uh, it's one of the first thing I always start teach when I start teaching. That I say when I start teaching to students, because usually left hand is always considered like the some optional hands, and let's say instead it must be important as our right hands anyway. Yeah.
So, and I've heard that you try to use both your hands doing everything on your day-to-day life. That's almost like rewiring your brain, right?
Yeah, I would like to know where you read all this stuff.
I do my research.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
I don't know neither when I say this, but yeah, it's what
Yeah.
I do. Brushing my teeth or opening the door or eating.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do with the right hand, sometimes I do with the left
Hmm.
hand. So this keep. It's not a physical
Hmm.
coordination. It's a
It's mental.
brain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mental
That's what I
coordination.
was saying, because if I try to do things with both hands, it almost feels like I'm going against something in my brain to make it happen. So to do that easily must be really hard.
Yeah, yeah, but if you keep practicing it, it
Hmm.
becomes very useful for any musician. For any
Hmm.
musician.
Okay, but especially for someone who uses both hands playing at the same time in a piano or an organ.
I believe for any musician because,
Okay.
as I said, it develops some skills for any on any instrument. So it doesn't matter if you play keyboards, you can play flute or guitar as well. I mean,
Hmm.
you keep practicing and keeping a mental balance between your two side of the your body,
Of
especially
course.
also in not in day life. When you come
Hmm.
home back home, you have your bag from the shopping with one hand. You don't know to open the door with the other one,
Yes,
so
of course.
you have
Yeah.
to switch. So
Yeah.
so
You have to
if you can
change
do
hands
it,
and try to do everything again. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. So we're just finishing up our conversation here on More Than Words today. And I wanted to ask you if you'd like to leave a message for some kid who's starting to know how to play music and start with the piano or other keyboards. What would you tell them?
Yeah. First of all, to keep their dreams up and to start with music to enjoy music and not to look it as it will be my life job, or I have to be I have to enjoy keep my parents or my friends enjoying what they do or
Hmm.
not. So just very natural and keeping uh, focused anyway on anything you are going to do, even small things like 5 minutes per day or 5 hours per day, just doing that 5 minutes good, and then you can even stop. But what you do anyway is well done.
That's the good message and strong words from a professional.
Thank you so much.
So just to begin, and I remember this now because you are Italian musician. So why do you think that in Italy there's such a strong metal scene?
Oh, this is the hardest question of all our interview.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it can be many reasons combined together. Of course, we have a strong and deep musical tradition,
Hmm.
and I think one of the things that help metal music especially the kind of metal music that started rising in Italy, let's say 20, 30 years ago, is the melody, it's vocal melodies. Of course, Italy is the bel canto country, and all the bands that were becoming very famous and great bands at the time, like I don't know, it can be Rhapsody of Fire, Labyrinth, Division Divine,
Yeah.
many others. I mean that started at the time. Were based on all strong and catchy melodies, very very nice melodies,
Yeah.
and I think this is part of Italian musicians' DNA,
Hmm.
our
And
origins.
yes, of course. And congratulations on winning the Eurovision with Måneskin. So Italian band, yeah, rock music in
Yeah.
Eurovision. That was a highlight for every Eurovision fan. Did you watch it happen?
I watched later because I was not able at the time to
Hmm.
follow the Eurovision, but yeah, I was very happy. Despite the many, good or bad reviews they had, but anyway, having rock music on stage and
Yeah.
television and an Italian band, is reason to be proud of it.
Yes, it was a great year for Italy. You also won the football
Oh,
Euro Cup. So La Squadra Azzurra,
yeah.
it has congratulations for them as well.
Yeah, of course. And then it followed with the Olympics.
Yes,
Was also the Olympics games also was incredible. How
it
many?
was.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't
because,
remember his name, but the high jump winner, he split his gold medal with another athlete. It was an Italian athlete. And that was a really good story relating to the Olympics. So it's a really good year for Italy.
yeah, yeah. I hope that he keeps going good also for Epiclassica release,
Yes, of course. We
and
are waiting for it.
yeah, and hopefully that the next year will bring us back some live shows.
Okay, I hope to find you in Portugal, maybe next year. Who
I hope
knows?
so.
Yes.
I've
So,
been there in 2019. The last
mhm,
tour we had with Caterina Nix,
yes.
Chaos Magic supporting the Visions of Atlantis, and
Mhm.
it was nice to be in Portugal to
Yeah,
perform there.
we have good crowds, and Portuguese people love their metal and their rock music. So we will be waiting also for Vivaldi Metal Project and any projects that you'll be working on. So, Mysteria, thank you so much for your time. I know you're always busy, and I hope that Epiclassica will be out there soon. Thank you.
Obrigado, grazie tanto.
Thank you so much.